One of the most intriguing aspects of the 2023 season is a championship battle between Perez and Verstappen. After the first 5 rounds, we have seen that the Mexican doesn't plan on backing down. However, in Miami, Verstappen reaffirmed his dominance by showcasing his ability to handle tires that were 40 laps old. This solidified his position as the number 1 driver in the team. To add excitement to this season, many of us are hoping to witness Perez or any other driver surpassing their teammate. But is this a realistic possibility? In this video, we will explore 7 reasons why Perez is unlikely to win the battle against Verstappen in 2023. Number 7. Not the favorite. Although there is no official acknowledgement of preferential treatment for Verstappen, it has become apparent through various statements and actions that he is the one receiving priority when it comes to race tactics and other aspects related to the car. While Verstappen and Perez have the autonomy to set up their own cars in times of extreme turmoil, Red Bull would undoubtedly back the driver who brought them a championship after a prolonged drought, with the previous one achieved by Vettel in 2014. Furthermore, when Verstappen was instructed to let Perez pass in Brazil, he refused to comply immediately after the race, resulting in Red Bull bringing in Ricciardo as a reserve driver just to show Perez where his place is within the team. Number 6. Not a game changer. How many drivers on the grid right now are like Verstappen? Not many, right? Potentially Russell and Leclerc, and of course Hamilton, although he is past his prime. Imagine the challenge of competing against a driver who emerges in the sport once every 10 to 20 years. That would undoubtedly be the greatest challenge for any F1 driver, including Perez, who has demonstrated himself to be the finest teammate Verstappen has ever had. The fact is, Verstappen is a generational talent that doesn't lack skills, experience, and determination, and even when something doesn't go his way and he can cry to the team about it, you'll never hear him give up. Verstappen always gives 100%, which may be one of the reasons why many drivers would think twice before accepting the opportunity to drive for Red Bull alongside him. As Horner said, Perez currently has the hardest role in Formula 1, being Verstappen's teammate, and you don't have to go that far to see a similar case, Bottas and Hamilton from 2017 to 2021. Number 5. No championship experience. Despite having more experience than Verstappen, Perez has never been put in the situation that Verstappen was, fighting against a more superior car and winning the championship in that same season. 2021 was probably the season in which everything changed for Verstappen, and the fact that he and Hamilton went head-to-head and the Dutchman made 0 mistakes just goes to show that he is made out of a different material. True, the ending of the 2021 season was a bit controversial, but we're talking about driving skills here, not championship-deciding moves by the FIA. If you compare Verstappen to, for example, Leclerc last year, when the Monegasque had a lot of chance to win the championship, you'd see that he makes a lot of errors, and that's why he'll never be able to challenge the Dutchman for the championship if he continues with that pattern. The same goes for Perez, who also said that if you want to beat Verstappen, you need to be at 100% every racing weekend. And if you give 99%, rest assured you'll be beaten by him. Number 4. Cant Adapt. To explore this, we have to go back to 2022 and the first couple of races, when Red Bull struggled a lot with reliability issues and pure race pace, with the Ferraris being just uncatchable ahead. Once Red Bull started to bring upgrades to their car to make it more competitive, we've seen Verstappen win races from P14 in Spa and P7 in Italy, similarly to what he's been doing here. And the reason for that is not just his speed, but the fact that the guy can actually drive anything that's given to him. Unlike Verstappen, Perez seems to have lost his groove and struggled to adapt to the given car, so instead of him adapting his driving style, he urged the team to bring the car closer to him. You could never hear Verstappen ask the team to make the car more suited to him. It's just that he has this ability to adapt to whatever car's been given to him. Number 3. Limited performance. This is likely the primary reason why Perez doesn't stand a chance to beat Verstappen. Perez's performance is restricted to specific tracks, and he has demonstrated that he excels primarily on street circuits, being renowned as the Street King. Perez is undoubtedly one of the top drivers when it comes to these types of tracks, even prior to his time with Red Bull. However, there are only a limited number of circuits where Perez would be able to demonstrate his skills, as the majority of the calendar consists of traditional circuits where Verstappen's dominance remains unparalleled. For instance, Perez's 2 victories and the 2 races in which he managed to keep Verstappen at bay were in Jeddah and Baku. However, in Miami, Perez encountered significant difficulties in maintaining his tires in the optimal condition, unlike Verstappen, who seemed to drive exceptionally. Despite Perez's reputation as a tire whisperer capable of preserving tires as required by the team, Verstappen has proven to be the superior driver in this particular aspect of the car's performance so far. Perez is yet to prove that he could beat Verstappen on a more traditional circuit, and the fact that the Miami GP, a track that is labeled as a street one, was one that delivered a huge blow to Perez's confidence and championship aspirations yet again may be a harsh wake-up for the Mexican. Number 2. Not fast enough. Although Perez drives for the fastest constructor in 2023, or more precisely, has the fastest car on the grid, it is evident that he lacks the speed necessary to challenge Verstappen for the championship. To illustrate this, let's consider a small comparison. We can look at how Verstappen showcased his ability to climb up the grid when qualifying didn't go in his favor, as seen in Jeddah and Miami. In both of these tracks, Verstappen started from 14th and 9th positions respectively. In Saudi Arabia, he managed to secure P2 by lap 25, which accounted for 50% of the race. Similarly, in Miami, he secured P2 by lap 15, which was less than a third of the race. Perez had a bad qualifying session in Australia and had to start from the pit lane, but due to an early safety car, he was able to catch up with the grid right away. However, his climbing process wasn't as smooth as Verstappen's, and while he managed to finish P5, originally P6, but due to Sainz's penalty he climbed one position above, the fact that he struggled to pass Norris for multiple laps goes to show that he lacks the speed and confidence to make moves that Verstappen would make without even blinking. Number 1. Lack of confidence. This isn't something that comes from the bottom of my heart. It's something that Perez personally mentioned after the qualifying process in Miami. Despite finding more and more pace from the RB19, Perez simply doesn't feel as comfortable with it compared to Verstappen. If we examine the data, Perez lacks the confidence to approach corners at the same speed as Verstappen, leading him to brake earlier and accelerate later. This approach costs him valuable lap time. On the other hand, it is known that Verstappen prefers driving a car with a rear end that is slightly understeering and provides him with an unstable rear end to manage. However, in Perez's own words, he acknowledged that he is unable to replicate what Verstappen is achieving with the RB19. Perez stated, "When I was looking at the data and seeing what Max was able to do, I could simply not do that, and I was struggling a lot. It was not small differences, it was quite big. We did one good change before qualifying, which I won't go into too much detail, obviously." It is safe to say that the number one aspect for a Formula One driver is to establish a seamless connection with the car, which Perez was unable to achieve in 2022. As a result, he lost his competitiveness not only against Verstappen, but also in comparison to Ferrari and Mercedes. In conclusion, the lack of confidence is the most crucial factor among the 7 reasons why Perez is unlikely to win the championship or outperform Verstappen. Therefore, it's safe to say that the only way Perez can beat Verstappen is if he can up his game and challenge Verstappen to his absolute limits, something that Rosberg did back in 2016. But with Verstappen being Verstappen, consistently pushing the boundaries of what's possible, can Perez truly rise to the occasion and dethrone the Dutch prodigy? Is Perez prepared to risk his position with Red Bull to pursue his own championship aspirations? And if he does manage to overcome Verstappen, will it mark a turning point in the dynamic between the two drivers and within the team? These are the lingering questions that fuel our anticipation and make this championship battle all the more captivating.